Welcome to Whiskey Vault.
I'm Daniel.
I am Rex.
This is a gift from Phreak Mac, magnificent bastard.
He's a freak.
Phreak Mac.
But is he a super freak?
No, he's a Phreak Mac.
Phreak Mac, you magnificent bastard.
Man, he's early days commenter. No? Phreak Mac has been around since
Dark
we were
Fatha Rye.
still trying to figure out what we were doing.
What are we doing?
No one knows. This is from Minnesota. Mm-hmm. Here's what I will say about this distillery. They have a definite vibe and a commitment to the brand design and the style guide and all of this.
This is very Phreak Mac-y.
Yeah,
even though he didn't do it. Phreak Mac sends in a whiskey, I want it to have a label like that.
Yeah. I don't know anything about this other than that they aged the rye and then they put it into their bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout barrels from the same place. They make beer.
Bourbon barrel aged. So you got a bourbon barrel, you do imperial stout, you age the imperial stout in there, and then you take the imperial stout out and you throw the rye in there.
Rye and an imperial stout.
Okay, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I've always seen stouts with bourbon.
Sure.
I've never seen a rye.
I think it could play well if some of that stout translated into the rye, maybe some creamy quality in there, to balance up against a little bit more of the bright, crispier rye flavors.
I was searching their whole website, all the small print, to figure out what was in here.
Yeah.
And I have no idea. It's just rye, evidently.
Yeah.
I did stumble onto some sentences I thought were amusing on their About Us page, but let's try the whiskey first.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely a rye.
Yeah.
The stout barrel didn't cover up any ryeness.
No, and it's green grainy kind of. But then it goes into this sort of, I mean, damn it, I'm gonna say it. It's a little bit dark, like pumpernickel instead of just generic rye.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So dark herbal. I want to say seeds, like bird seed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a bird seed.
I buy them by the bag for our outdoor bird feeders,
Yeah.
you know, and it just smells like a bag of seeds.
Okay.
Like, you know, it's not strong either. It's pretty muted.
It's like it's not quite a green
Sesame
tea.
seeds?
It's not quite a green tea. You think on the sesame though?
It reminds me of the burlap bags that I used to get that came from coffee distributors.
Okay.
And I would use them to wrap foam and hang them on walls for sound absorbent in my studio.
Yeah.
But it looked cool because it was like this old stamped coffee bag, but it was full of foam.
Yeah.
And I remember the smell of the combination of that old coffee burlap sack kind of.
Now that you say that, there's a very, very low-key caramel sweetness that's kind of drizzled on your burlap.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
See, that's cloudy. I like the smell of this. I'm not finding any faults or any weird outliers. It's just
I think it's well executed.
It's simple.
But whether or not you're a rye person is going to depend on whether or not you're going to
I'm
enjoy
curious to see if the Imperial Stout is what
Yeah,
shows
because
up
it's
in the
not
palate.
showing up on the nose at all.
Oh, yeah.
It's creamy as hell.
It just turned it into pure...
Oh my God, I love that.
Oh, and then pepper zest at the end.
It's so creamy. There's a cream soda quality to this rye.
Yeah.
That played beautifully with the rye.
Wow.
I dig that.
I was prepared because, maybe because of the style, but I was prepared to not be impressed. Like they put all their money into the label.
Yeah.
It's not like a change my life, but it's like, that was pleasant.
No,
I enjoy that.
I think the nose, I was set up for a certain kind of flavor experience, and I don't hate it, but also it's not my favorite thing to find in whiskey. But I get on the taste in this thing, and there's such this. None of that creaminess translated to the nose. It all shows up on the palate, and the texture and the finish. It's still a creamy finish, like a cream soda quality, met and balanced with these really nice herbal rye notes. Wow, hell yeah!
I go back and I keep getting the pepper presents in an almost capsaicin kind of way. You know what I mean? The bing! It's so strong before it softens that it's almost a peppery bite. Like pepper, not like ground black pepper.
Okay, I'm looking for that. Maybe I'll get it. This is me being so picky because I like this.
Yeah.
I want it to be just a few points higher.
Yeah, they put it to 40. Yeah, this is batch 1.
Oh, okay.
Wow. All right then.
Yeah, right out of the gate. I do want the proof to be a little bit higher.
So they're talking about the process.
I wouldn't have guessed 40 though.
No, I wouldn't either.
40%.
I would on the palate. I wouldn't on the nose. The nose stood up a little bit stronger. Palate feels 40 to me.
Yeah, it's pretty close to 40. I would
Because
say like
if you didn't know it was Imperial
44,
Stout,
45%.
you would think it was low proof. That creaminess of the stout finish, I think, is also softening it.
Oh, man.
There's a quote on their site that says, typical distilleries use substandard grains and corn.
Sometimes.
Because their process is to age out the bad flavors.
Well, no, that's okay.
But we do narrow cuts
Right.
because we care about the flavor and the high quality.
Yeah. So how many other distilleries? I think
There's like 3,000 to 4,000 other distilleries
I
in the
think
U.S.
I think that's true,
Some of them.
but it's a minority. And
Okay.
they either have to have like dirt cheap whiskey, or they're not going to be in business that long.
Here's where I'm going to say you're right, and dang, I'm getting closer,
Although
but not making
there
it.
is a distillery that we know that has super wide cuts that is managed.
yeah.
I don't know if it's just like networking judo or something, but
Yeah, they still are
they're getting
everywhere.
into all the stores
Yeah.
and they've convinced people it's somehow
Yeah,
good whiskey.
yeah.
All right.
So here's the truth, and you talk to the licorices about this, or anybody who's making corn whiskey. The truth is, yellow dent corn is feed corn. Period.
And it's the most common corn used.
Period. And it's feed corn. And when after Prohibition, the main distilleries wanted to ramp up mass production, they went with the most highly available mass-produced corn so that they could keep up with supply and ramp. And so they didn't go after corns with flavor. They went after corns that had been bred specifically to be hardy and withstand things and prioritize yields and things like that. That's not a flavor decision. And so, yes, the corn snob guys, like the licorices or what's his name, Woodhat, he'll say things like, everybody else is putting animal feed into their whiskey. If you drink a major bourbon brand, you're drinking animal feed.
Right.
And so, yeah, that's where that idea comes from, but it's not totally accurate. And two, you cannot age out bad flavors.
To a certain extent, though, there are some improvements you can make with some aggressive finishing.
Yeah, you can fix something bad, but like you cannot age out.
No.
If the whiskey is bad
in
before it goes into a barrel,
Even the new make, you can tell like this is not right.
then the barrel's not going to do anything but accent that. So if you don't like it going into the barrel, you're not going to like it coming out of the barrel.
One of the more fun challenges, though, is once you get something that the barrel did something weird.
Yeah.
You compare it to the other same exact spirits, going the same exact barrel char and age and all that. But that one turned out weird. What can you do to poke at and adjust?
Those are fun.
Yeah, because sometimes it's finishing, sometimes it's blending, sometimes it's aging in a different barrel. Yeah.
We're doing that right now with like 8 barrels.
Which ones?
Fucking barrel mill. It's not green, it's pencil shavings. It's so bad. So we dumped all of them.
Right.
And we're recasking them to see if we can, and we're just gonna stick them in the corner.
Yeah. What
and
size
see,
barrel?
give them a couple of years.
What size barrel?
They were 15s.
Okay.
Now we're recasking into 53s.
Yeah.
And used 53s. And we're
Is
just gonna
it,
stick them in the container.
Used bourbon?
We'll check them again in 2025.
All right.
And just see if we were able to get rid of that note.
Okay, so 15. It's a few full-size barrels worth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was so angry. I was in the container by myself when I pulled that sample.
Yeah.
And I was like, maybe it'll be mother. And I literally sat there with a Glencairn in the doors. I'm sitting on a barrel.
Right.
And I'm looking at the floor, just like Rolodexing through my head. How angry am I? I know where Barrel Mill's located.
Right. Do I want to burn it
Do
down?
I want to go have a talk?
There's a lot of wood there.
Yeah. But it ruined my day for sure. I left and I was just like, that's like
It's a lot of money.
Gallons.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot
Yes.
of time. It's a lot of effort. We got Donald Barber 7016. My first Scotch ever was Monkey Shoulder. Now this was after a couple of different bourbons, and I got hit with banana bread.
Yeah.
Right after that, I tried Ardbeg and absolutely loved it. It was like, oh my God, this is like drinking barbecue.
Yeah. So that's my favorite thing. When people who are sort of tiptoeing into things, something like a light bulb goes off. And from that point forward, all of their experiences change and develop and get dramatic and interesting.
Yeah.
And they go from struggling and trying to see what you guys are getting in this to like, wow! It's like it's like when Wizard of Oz went from black and white to color
Right.
when she came out of the house.
You know that fractal art?
Oh, yeah.
Where you have to kind of slightly let your eyes just,
Oh, yeah. I hate those.
just start to begin to cross, and then you can see this 3D thing.
Like, it's a sailboat.
There's a lot of people standing around like, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's a sail. Look, it's a sail. And you look at them and you're like, That reminds me, remember the jerk when he sells everyone glasses with the holder and it causes this nationwide pandemic of cross-eyed people? Remember that, Steve Martin?
No.
Yeah, he gets sued and goes. He makes all his money from these things that he just set your glasses on your nose.
Yeah.
And then someone goes on like a expose, and it's like all these people are now cross-eyed, permanently cross-eyed,
Yeah.
and you get sued for everything.
Did you ever watch the IT Crowd?
Oh yeah,
There's an episode of like the Boss-eyed. They call them Boss-eyed. I don't know
Yeah.
why Boss-eyed, but it was fundraising for the Boss-eyed people, and they were going to do a sexy calendar shoot.
Yeah.
The girls of the 7th floor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it ended up being, it's like, no. Jen, the manager, decided, no, that's sexist. We have to do something that's much more, chic and in line with the current atmosphere. It's like, you know what's really in now? Nerds. So they had to do a sexy shoot with nerds.
That was a sleeper show.
Yeah,
Like,
no,
it
it
starts
really
as like, really? And
Right.
then by about the 5th or 6th episode, you're like, oh, I am all in on this. Like when they discovered the secret person in their closet in their own office.
Yes.
Who lived there, the goth.
And then, we're just talking about the
I know, whatever. Yeah. But it was really funny.
Here's the point of the show. It's very early in the series, and if you get to the episode where they all go to a work outing to go see a play, and and if you like that episode,
Wheelchair. And then he gets wheeled away, they're driving away with him. And they're just like,
if you like that episode, then you'll like the show.
I forgot about that one.
We got
Boss. And he's just looking at him.
Mr. Avalon 82. A lot of money, and every cent I've spent of whiskey that was recommended by you guys was top-notch and delicious. Awesome. I wish I could order straight from you guys, but alas, the mail's stupid.
Dude,
Yeah.
can you imagine if any time all of a sudden we were able to, with no legal problems whatsoever,
Yeah.
like link below if you really like this.
You know what I would do?
Holy sh!
I would do?
What?
With all of the money,
Yeah.
I would buy just the biggest freaking yacht and load it with all of the bottles
Yeah.
that people want to try, and I would just go up and down the coast
And just be
and just
"This
pull
is
in the ports and
yours."
say, "Hey, MBs, we're in this harbor, this dock. Come
Yeah.
hang out. Let's drink some whiskey and hang out."
We have to go 2 miles out to sea, so we're in international waters.
Whatever, man.
And then anything goes.
Basically, it's just a floating, massive whiskey
store.
whiskey library, whiskey vault. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the people that were coming near your town, they come and get on the boat and we hang out. That's what I would do with all the money. That'd be freaking amazing.
Yeah, man, if you didn't have any kind of ties to just like convert this into a yacht. Basically, this room, it's a floating whiskey library.
Obviously
Your
modified.
shelving would have to be.
No,
much
obviously
stronger.
modified shelving.
Yeah, everything needs to have its own little like foam container.
Yeah, or
so
just
when the boat's just flying all
Straps
over.
or something. You know what? Yacht people have a lot of time and a lot of money. I'm sure they figured out the shelving by now.
Well, yeah, liquor. They're drinking. Somebody store those bottles.
Okay. Yeah, surprisingly nice. Okay. Here's to fighting, stealing, and drinking.
If you fight me, a fight for a friend.
Steal me, you steal your liver's heart.
And if you drink,
May you drink with us.